Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Being your family's grocery store isn't just about having the best butcher cut meat or the freshest produce. It's not about having the highest quality online shopping or experts who handpick your groceries. And it's not just about giving you the most affordable prices. Being your family's grocery store means making sure that you have all of that. And that's why at Fairway Meat and Grocery, it's what we've always been about.
When you choose Delta Dental of Iowa, you set a chain of good in motion because we invest in your community. So whether you get your plan at work or purchase it through us, you get more than great dental and vision insurance. You make a difference for others. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, and for your community.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
Slade's the place for you! We'd like to welcome you to this year's Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament in Fort Dodge, Iowa. We hope you've enjoyed the action today, and we're here today with Farm Bureau President Brent Johnson. And we're actually visiting Brent at his farm just outside of Manson, Iowa. We are so thankful for all those who support us to help put on this great event, none of which are more important than Iowa Farm Bureau, our proud title sponsor. Why does Iowa Farm Bureau invest in Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union?
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, and we're also thrilled to be a part of this year's Girls State Softball Tournament. This tournament not only showcases Iowa's elite teams, but the athletes competing here today are among the nation's best and brightest, and our farmers are among the nation's most productive. Our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the opportunity to honor both while supporting and uplifting the Iowa girls.
Why has the Iowa Farm Bureau invested so much in support of the Iowa girl and all of Iowa's youth across this nation?
Well, we at Farm Bureau believe in championing Iowa's youth. After all, one day they will be our state's future leaders. The Iowa Farm Bureau Scholarship Program, we've given over $500,000 every year to kids across the state. We've also teamed up with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union to sponsor concussion insurance at no cost to those athletes or their families so that they can continue to compete at a high level. We've also provided teachers over the last 8 years with over $450,000 so that they can properly equip their classrooms. And most recently, we've gifted $1 million to the FFA Foundation for their efforts to increase agriculture awareness and support their chapters across the state.
The student athletes participating in this year's tournament are taking home some great souvenirs.
The signature ball program, a memento that they can take with them so someday they can look back on their experiences here and know that the effort that they put in has really paid off, and really congratulate all those students that are competing here at this year's tournament.
Thank you, Brent, and thank you, Iowa Farm Bureau. Now let's get back to playing ball.
One, your life. coverage of Iowa Girls State Softball continues, presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And we're into the small but mighty schools here this evening, heading into the Class 1A quarterfinals and the 1 versus 8 seed matchup here tonight at Kruger Seeds Field in Fort Dodge, Iowa. It's Martensdale-St. Mary's, the Blue Devils, taking on the Fort Dodge St. Edmond Gales in front of what will likely be a great hometown crowd for Fort Dodge. Good evening on a splendid evening here in Fort Dodge. I'm Ben Gislason, joined by Andy Pollock. And Andy, you and I have had the pleasure of sharing the booth once already today. We move into the Class 1A schools, looking ahead to this matchup here tonight. David versus Goliath, you might call it, but anything can happen, especially in the state tournament, especially with the Fort Dodge St. Edmunds team playing in front of what will likely be a very good crowd here at home.
Well, we've already seen in other classes, we've seen a 1 seed go down, we've seen a couple 2 seeds go down, and the thing that stands out most is this Fort Dodge St. Edmunds team, as they come into this tournament, their record coming in at 23-11, maybe a little deceiving. However, they played a really tough schedule. They played some of the best teams in the state throughout the course of the year, and some of the best softball in the state's played right here in Fort Dodge anyway, with the Fort Dodge Dodgers. See a lot of their players and fans around tonight watching as well, keeping an eye on the hometown Gales, and a bunch of green up in the stands tonight for Fort Dodge St. Edmunds.
The Gales in green here this evening. Let's check out how they got to play at home here at the state tournament on our road to state, that 23-11 record. They're the champions of Region 2, defeating Newell Fonda in the regional final. And the game we did earlier, Andy, stolen bases, we talked about that with Interstate 35. We'll talk about it again with this Fort Dodge team, 4th in the Class 1A, and a nice team batting average as well. Lauren Gibb at the plate, we'll keep an eye on her, and then Kaylee Henning. She can bat too, but specifically we'll keep an eye on her in the circle. On the other side, the champions of Region 5 and the number 1 seeded 1A team are the Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils. They come in with a record of 25-6, the Region 5 champions. And look at that, opponent batting average 3rd in Class 1A. And hard to get on base against these Blue Devils, isn't it, Andy?
Campbell German is one of the premier pitchers in the state of Iowa right now, and you can just look at those stats and see less than 1 run a game, and my math tells me if you hold a team to less than 1 run, you're going to win a lot of ball games that way. And one of the biggest things that stands out for both of these teams is who they defeated. A couple perennial powers, a couple teams that we've seen up here at the state tournament a lot in Newell Fonda and Collins Maxwell. But looking forward to this one. I think this game's going to be a little bit closer than what the numbers show, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
What leads you to believe that? Why would you give the Gales a chance? Because, again, numbers-wise, obviously in an underdog situation, you never give the underdog a chance. But it happens time and time again. It's happened a lot already this week in Fort Dodge. What gives the Gales hope and belief here to take on a very powerhouse Martensdale-St. Mary's team?
I think the message in that dugout is we're battle-tested, we played some of the best teams in the state. That's what got us here right now. We've had success in some of those games, not success in others, but I think that's what you got to continue to use as your rallying cry right now and say that we've prepared you with a schedule that's gotten you to this point, and that's what you go with.
And on the other side of the diamond, why are the Blue Devils saying this is, I don't want to call it a formality, but they're coming in here with business attitude, saying we're coming to take care of business and move on to where we feel we belong, and that is the semifinals?
Well, they're looking at some unfinished business from a year ago, losing to the state semifinals, and they bring back 7 starters off that team. And, we talked already about Campbell German, just the way she leads this team. Your defense can come with you wherever you go. And in this case, I think they made the trip up from the south side of would that be Polk County? I believe they'd be right down there. Polk County, just on the south side of Des Moines. I didn't know if they're down into Madison
Warren,
County.
Officially Warren. Just double check it.
It might cover
very
a couple
close though.
places.
Being a Polk County native, very close.
Yeah, we're close on that. So I think that your defense comes with you, and you just got to carry that swagger with you tonight if you're Martensdale-St. Mary's.
Number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's against the number 8 seeded Fort Dodge St. Edmond Gales. There's that hometown crowd getting excited, and it's time to meet everyone from both sides. We'll send it down to the diamond. Our PA announcer has us for the next segment of our broadcast. When Andy and I come back, we'll have the first pitch here for the opening game of the Class 1A quarterfinals.
That would be played at Kruger Seeds Field right here at 7 p.m. Now let's meet the non-starters. The visitors from St. Ed's. Number 2, Michaela Lighting. Number 3, Ira Lemon. Number 6, Maggie Flaherty. Number 12, Eva Andrews. Number 20, Alyssa Elbert. And number 23, Sylvia Hess. Your assistant coaches are Bill Myers and Brian Maxson. And now, here's your starting lineup for the St. Edmunds Gales, leading off, playing third base, number 17, Faith Sherbrand. Playing second at shortstop, number 10, Ethan Bradley. Center field, number 19, Lauren Gibb. Playing up for the Gales at first base, number 8, Ansley Oswald. Playing fifth, pitching number 22, Katie Playing sixth at second base, number 16, Anna Kalashia. Playing seventh, doing the catching, number 9, Anthony Oswald. Batting eighth in right field, number 7, Josie Harvey. Batting ninth, left fielder, number 1, Sophia Schlins. And coach of the Gales, Bill Sherbrand. Now, take the non-starters and assistant coaches for the home team, the Blue Devils. Number 8, McLean German. Carson Overender. Number 14, Olivia Van Gundy. Number 17, Annie Hoffs. And number 19, Kaylee Pitty. Your assistant coach, Kayla Esslinger. Now here's your starting lineup. The St. Mary's Blue Devils at shortstop, leading off, number 6, Brinley German. Second base, number 7, Ellie Baker. Pitching, number 4, Kendall German. Leading hitter for the Blue Devils, designated player number 18, Abby Hughes. Doing the catching, number 11, Cindy Baird. Batting 6 at third base, number 15, Anthony Pearson. Batting 7th in left field, number 2, Bonnie Berger. Right field, number 5, Marianne Hart. Batting in the next position at center field, number 3, Emily Hughes. Playing first base, number 13, Ava Oberender. Head coach for Martensdale-St. Mary's, Emily Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the home plate area. The umpires for this contest as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Deirdre Moore. At third base, Jerry Kohei. And calling the balls and strikes today, Mr. Ed Oliver. All right, who's ready for state tournament softball?
And before we begin today's game, we'd like to once again thank Iowa Farm Bureau, proud title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, for their support. The Iowa Farm Bureau has an office located in each county across Iowa, and we'd like to thank the offices listed on your screen for their support of the two teams playing in our game today. Thank you, Iowa Farm Bureau, for supporting the IGHSAU and the Iowa Girl. Number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's will take the field first. We'll get a look at the sensational junior pitcher Campbell German, who can bring in a lot of different ways, can't she, Andy?
Yeah, and she's got this extra little hop that's going to get her, and you just notice it right now, and you see something similar out of the Ankeny pitcher the other day as well, and something that's not as enforced anymore as they get you a little bit closer, get a little extra into you. The Gales, if they can get somebody on base, they're going to have to be very protective of any base runners they get on, and also they got to keep this game down into a 1-0, 2-1 type of game if they have any shot here to win this. Just got to be able to play solid defense and value your base runners.
St. Edmond with their first trip to state since 2015. Their head coach Bill Sherbrand in his 4th year at the helm of the Gales, and due up here in the top of the first, Faith Sherbrand, Peyton Bradley, and Lauren Gibb. And the third baseman Sherbrand will kick things off here and look to ignite a packed stands here around the grounds at Kruger Seeds Field here in Fort Dodge. The opening pitch on the way from Campbell German, and it's a strike on a swing and a miss to start.
Campbell German comes into this game averaging just under 2 strikeouts per inning, which is going to make life really boring for a color guy if she's striking everybody out the entire game.
Sherburne, the freshman, batting .374 this year. And so far, she's way behind on the fastballs from German.
Well, you see these fastballs, the spin that she's putting on them, really trying to get that inside motion in on the hands of the right-handed batter.
0-2 count to the freshman Sherburne. That one a little slower, had some movement on it, but comes in high for a 1-2 count.
Incredible discipline to lay off that pitch. That was belt high.
So a 1-2 count to the leadoff batter for the Gales. The pitch is high, a little easier to lay off on that one. So Sherburne hanging on here in the opening at bat.
Well, we've seen 3 different pitches so far. That fastball with the inside tail. We've seen the drop change, and there we just saw the rise ball.
2-2 count. There's a swing and a miss. Straight gas from German, and she starts where she's started a lot of innings this year in the strikeout category.
Hard throwing. I mean, not the hardest we've seen in this tournament, but very hard throwing. But just you see the natural movement, and I don't think we've seen a pitch coming at the same speed twice yet.
So up to the plate now, Peyton Bradley, the sophomore, just like the last batter, a first pitch strike on a swing and a miss.
That's an absolutely filthy pitch thrown by German. The drop change, flip change.
Pitch number 2 up high, and you saw German circling her finger around maybe to signal the rotation that she saw on that ball, although I'm not going to take too many speculations as to what that was. She knows a heck of a lot more about that position than I do. Comes in with another heater, that one's high, and so German falls behind for the first time here tonight.
Well, each batter's seen at least 3 different styles of pitches from her so far.
The shortstop, Bradley, behind it again, and right back into the count. Equalizing at a 2-2 count is the Blue Devils' ace, German.
She likes coming back to that old reliable, that fastball a little bit up in the zone.
Swing and a miss again. 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts from the tremendous junior Campbell German, making things look awfully easy right now.
And I'm not sure if that's a true rise ball there or just a natural movement on her fastball, because her fastball has definitely got some upward movement to it. Also up in the miles per hour category.
Another sophomore on a very young Gales team. Lauren Gibb to the plate, gets a piece of that one that jams her in on the hands. Gibb, a .442 average, the best in a Gales uniform, 50 hits on the year as well. So maybe Gibb can catch up to the velocity of German here in the top of 1. Class 1A quarterfinals opening here in Fort Dodge. The number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils and the St. Edmond Gales. Ranked at number 8 here, looking for another upset in the cards. A week full of upsets, it seems. We've seen a pair of number 2 seeds go down and number 1 seed go down. Oh, 2 count again. German is ahead, this time on Gibb. And rung up, looking. A resounding first inning on the mound from the star pitcher Campbell German. We go to break, and now Martensdale-St. Mary's look to get the bats going in the bottom of 1 as we return for the opening of Class 1A quarterfinals action here in Fort Dodge.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Heads up to our fans at home. Central College has you covered with career-building programs. And with tuition less than $20,000 a year and tons of scholarships, it's the best decision ever. Apply today at central.edu. Andy Pollock to my right. I'm Ben Gislason. This is quarterfinals action at the Class 1A level here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And the Gales will head to the field, and junior Kaylee Henning will look to play even par against the tremendous pitching German for Martensdale-St. Mary's. And though we talked a lot about German and her prowess, Kaylee Henning's no slouch either.
Yeah, Kaylee Henning has struck out a lot as well. Not quite the nearly 2 batters per inning, but 1.5's not bad.
150 on the season for the junior Henning, and she's ahead on the opening batter for the Blue Devils, Brinley German. The shortstop down 0-2 here to arguably the home team side. It feels awkward to call them the home team. Technically, they're not the home team, but just look to our right as you notioned there. There's a bleeding foul ball, and looks like a member of the Gales fan base will go home with a souvenir. One of those high schoolers very upset in a joking way that he missed that catch. An error on the Gales fan base there.
I'm told, I just got the message, I looked for it earlier today, I just got the message they have 216 softballs prepared for the weekend. I actually would have expected that number to be a little bit higher.
I would have as well. Had an at-bat yesterday. I want to say it was roughly 11 or 12 foul balls back over the backstop.
And these are high nets as well. Well, just in the last game, as I was sitting here, they ran out of balls, and there was a pause in play as they had to go find more. And the home plate umpire turned back to his evaluator and said, "Hey, I'm out. What do I do?" Pointed over to the equipment side, and they wanted to go over and find some more softballs.
Forgot to mention one at-bat, 10 or 12 foul balls in a game. That doesn't seem like that incredible, but in one at-bat, that changes the scenario a little bit. The scenario here, 2-2. To the leadoff hitter for the Blue Devils. And Brinley German takes the ball low and inside into the dirt, and all of a sudden the 0-2 count has turned 3-2.
Well, we've seen Henning work several different pitches as well through this first at-bat. Really like her drop ball that she threw in that second pitch.
The payoff pitch from Henning. It's on the money and fouled. Is it playable? Just out of the reach of 3 streaking Gales. Rushing over to it from second base, trying to get to it, was Anna Kalashia.
Kalashia looked like she was shot out of a cannon.
Well, I've never seen 3 players get to a ball that. Usually you see maybe the argument between 2 players, but 3. So this Gales team clearly hungry. They know they need to take outs when they can get them against a top seed like this in the Blue Devils. So the count stays 3-2. Here's Henning's delivery again. Another foul and a nice at-bat to open the night for the senior Brinley German.
Now, we talked about it in the last game that we did together, Ben, but this is exactly what you want out of your leadoff batter as she comes up and sees a lot of different pitches. You see the variety of pitches that Henning can throw. And it gives everybody kind of a look at what she's going to be using tonight in her plan of attack.
Still a 3-2 count. German with 9 triples on the season, the best in Class A. This one spiked towards second, scooped up and thrown down at 1. Good work at second base there by Anna Kalashia, and so a good start for the Gales.
I like Kalashia's internal clock. She knew she had to come and get that off the hop. If she waits for the second hop, there's no doubt the runner gets there safely. As you see her come charging in, has to get rid of it very quick. Not a whole lot of time when you're only running 60 feet.
Two-batter for the Blue Devils, Ellie Baker. Oodles of problems that she can cause. A team trying to defend 7 in blue and gold. 33 RBIs on the year, 443 batting average on the season for the sophomore. Here's the pitch from Henning with a 1-0 count. Make it 1-1.
Henning goes to the outside, which is a lot of times you'll see pitchers try to jam these left-handed batters, try to force something over to the first base side of the infield. Henning decides to go to the outside there.
The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed Trying to bleed her way down the first base line there was Baker. And throwing that one towards the outside of the plate was Henning, and she's ahead in the count 1-2.
Well, and now it'll be interesting to see the pitch that Henning goes with, because she's been going fastballs to the outside. Would expect some sort of off-speed pitch. There it was.
Swung on and missed. You called it, partner. An off-speed pitch from Henning, and the Gales are off to a great start. 2 down for Martensdale-St. Mary's here, and so far no runners on any bases for the Blue Devils. 2 outs, and Henning will face Campbell German now. The first time these pitchers will go at it toe-to-toe.
German, a very good hitter as well. Batting .409 on the season coming in, and I love seeing this matchup so far. These are, having not seen Henning throw yet this year, very impressed with what I've seen out of her here in the early going.
1.58 ERA on the season for Henning, and there's some steam coming in high on Campbell German and taking a commanding 0-2 lead here on the dazzling pitcher of Martensdale-St. Mary's. Let's see what Henning has up her sleeve here. And she tries to paint that outside corner, missed by an inch.
Not by much at all. And again, working all over the plate. The most important thing I think right now as I look is she is hitting the spot that Hadley Oswald sets up for her. She is going right for it. She goes outside once again.
Henning with a little English on that. That one just over the head of the shortstop, Peyton Bradley, for the Gales. And after a fantastic opening inning in the circle, Campbell German has her first hit in her first at bat.
And she didn't miss her spot by much, but just a little bit inside on the off-speed pitch. And a nice job by German to take that into the opposite field. A little duck snort out there into the outfield. I'm sure I'm going to get phone calls on that. I've got the official duck snort patrol out there that let me know if
I got to admit, I've never heard that one. I got a great chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I'll leave it to your patent. I won't take it later in the broadcast, I promise. At least not while you're listening.
There's a crew that listens to me, and if I call something a duck snort that's not a duck snort, I hear it from everybody.
Your phone lights up like a Christmas tree.
So far, I've heard nothing. So either no one's watching me tonight on that crew, or I'm all right. They only let me know when I'm wrong. They never tell me that I'm right.
That's what friends are for, right? Well, I saw you reel back there, partner. That was quite a nasty pitch, wasn't it, from Henning? That got the cleanup batter, Abigail Hughes, way out in front of it. It curled its way in right over the plate for an opening strike on the 1-1 count.
I'm really enjoying watching these two pitchers duel so far.
That one short, but getting to it from first base was Ansley Oswald. Terrific range and a terrific opening inning by the Gales. As we go scoreless through 1, when we come back, the Gales will hope for a gust of wind on offense here in Fort Dodge in the Class 1A quarterfinals on the Girls Union Network.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
Living your best life means something different to everyone, especially when it comes to healthcare. That's why Mercy One offers compassionate, personalized care. We are here for you with one team of experts, providing access to the primary care and highly rated specialty care you need, easily and conveniently. So go ahead, live your best life. We're with you every step of the way. Mercy One, your best life, our one purpose.
Plenty of green and white in the stands here. St. Edmond playing their home complex here at the Harlan Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. And in this battle of number 1 versus number 8, so far so good for the Gales. And we'll have a look once more at this sensational play by first baseman Ansley Oswald, a diving snag that got the Gales out of the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, that spark Such a great first inning, both pitching-wise. Really enjoyed watching them both as German comes back with her flip change again. But that defensive play there at the end as well from Oswald, just a great spark and really set this St. Edmond crowd on fire.
Excellent starting pitch from Campbell German. We've seen that a lot, and the pace on this fastball, so far the Gales haven't been able to get close to it.
It almost looks like she's just got a little smirk on her face the whole time, that she's just one step ahead of you out there in the circle.
0-2 count once again. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes, another K, and that's all 4 outs so far in this game have come via strikeout for the astounding junior.
Time to let somebody else play.
Maybe that's what one of her teammates said there in the circle when they came in for that little huddle.
Hey, give us a chance to make a play here, huh?
So to the plate comes Kaylee Henning.
Boy, she's not afraid to throw any of her pitches when she comes out. A lot of times you're looking to jump on that first ball fastball, and she's not afraid to throw anything else that she's got in her arsenal on that first pitch.
1-0 count, make it 2-0. Cautious batting by Kaylee Henning, who has 27 RBIs and batted .337 this season. So similarly to her pitching counterpart, Campbell German gets it done on both sides of the diamond.
Good
3-0 count.
Yeah, good recognition of the last 2 rise balls to lay off them. Just let them float right up through the top part of the zone, or missing the top part of the zone, I should say.
3-0 count. 4 straight balls after 3 straight strikes from German. And Henning makes her way to first base. First time the Gales have had a base runner in this young game.
Well, we talked about how the Gales like to steal bases, but I don't know. In this situation, I know you stick with what you've done well all season long, but I just feel like you have to value your base runners so much in this situation. You're not going to get a whole lot of them against Campbell German. And I suppose there's 2 schools of thought, is that you're going to be as aggressive as you can when you get your base runners, or you play it close and hope you can string a couple hits together.
Certainly is a fine line between crossing it, being too daring, and not being daring enough. We'll see how head coach Bill Sherburne plays this with his starting pitcher on first base. There's a bunt to advance the runner, and no play. So now a bunt that will advance the pinch runner, by the way, as Michaela Lighting came in to pinch run. Courtesy runner for the pitcher, brought to you by IMT Insurance. She makes her way to second, and a nice bunt there laid down by Anna Kalasia.
Just far enough, and then had the backspin on it, and Kalasia has enough speed that no throw able to be made, and an infield hit. Looks like the Gales. Yeah, looks like the Gales will be playing some small ball right now and work to methodically move their runners around. And all of a sudden, if you can try to bunt on a pitcher like German, things change up quite a bit.
Hadley Oswald at the plate. She bumps this one straight into the air on the bunt, and they give away an out there, do the Gales. Nicely fielded, though, coming out from behind the plate, Sydney Bears to get it.
Caught her with a rise ball in a bunt situation, and you just, the only chance on something like that is you almost have to swat down at the ball from the top, or recognize that you're not going to hit it and pull back, and not able to do it there. A rise ball pops up so many bunts, and that's what she got herself into there.
2 outs as sophomore right fielder Josie Harvey steps into the batter's box. They put a few dents on Campbell German here in this inning, but nothing that's drawn blood yet. Still a scoreless game here. Number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's against Fort Dodge St. Edmond Gales, the 8th seed. And a big cut and a big miss from 7 and White. Another 0-2 count. Feels like we've had dozens of these already, and we're only through 8 batters. Here's the pitch, high and getting a piece of it. A little too much distance on that for Bears to make another play behind the plate. The count stays 0-2. The runners stay on first and second.
Harvey nearly had time to pull back and swing again on that changeup that came in on the top part of the zone, got lunging forward on it, and good job fouling it off and staying alive.
Still 0-2, still pressure from German. That one just tapped down the foul, or the right field line foul, and Count stays 0-2. And Andy, what can you do to slow a pitcher down like this?
Well, a couple things. One of the things that you can do before you even step in the square is to try to throw her off her game. You notice German trying to work a little bit quicker. You take an opportunity, maybe get a speck of dust in your eye, something like that, some late timeouts, just get her out of rhythm.
This one chopped to first, and German grabs an out for the first time without a strikeout, but nonetheless, Campbell German dealing deadly here so far through 2 innings of play. We head to the bottom of 2 next here from Fort Dodge, and the Blue Devils head to the plate.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Goose eggs on either side of the scoreboard here at Kruger Seats Field in Fort Dodge. The champions of the Pride of Iowa Conference in the Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils taking on St. Edmond Gales, the champions of the North Central Conference this season. Ben Gislason joined by Andy Pollock, and so far nothing really firework laden in this game, but you might argue that it's not quite going according to script so far, as Henning zips in a fastball for a strike. This Blue Devils team, with their tremendous pitching in Campbell German, Gales were able to get a few ticks on the ball there, starting to maybe get a little up to speed.
And they did it with the middle to bottom part of their order, and I think that's a confidence booster as the game goes on, especially, I mean, that's just the top of the second inning. You're going to see her, you want to see more pitches. The more pitches you can see early on. Try to establish some level of being comfortable with what you see.
Blue Devils will hope to stamp out some of that mojo that maybe the Gales might have going in their dugout here. So far, the count is 2-2 to the catcher, Sydney Bears.
Kaylee Henning again working all over the plate, hitting her spots. Just trying to pay attention here to where the pitches are being called. It looks like coming from the dugout. I always like to see if a catcher is calling the pitches or if the coach is from the dugout.
Bears takes a third ball. 362 batting average for the catcher this season. The sophomore having a nice campaign in her second year around with the Blue Devils, as the payoff pitch is upcoming here from Henning, and that one gets slapped out towards center field. A little too much air under it, though, and under it is Lauren Gibb. The sophomore puts away Bears for the first out of the inning.
Gibb got a good read on it, just drifting off to her left a little bit. As I look out over the field right now, Ben, it's just kind of interesting with those bleachers in center. You're starting to get almost a College World Series type feel to what's going on here. You've got fans all the way around. This has definitely been one of the bigger crowds we've had here with the hometown St. Edmond Gales playing, but just really has a big time atmosphere going on up here at Harlan and Hazel Rogers Park.
Hadley Pearson, the lone senior in the starting lineup for Martensdale-St. Mary, stepping to the plate. 0-1 is the count. Henning will deliver again, make it 0-2. And to your point, Andy, the one thing you're starting to notice the further we go into this, the more you're starting to see not the same school colors watching the game. You're seeing other teams, other parents, other coaches coming around to watch the game. That College World Series vibe is very much there.
Well, and you're definitely going to see that tomorrow as it kicks into the semifinals and the Final Four for each team, which will be set here in the next three and a half hours. We'll know every semifinal team, but yeah, you're going to have so many people making the trek up here to Fort Dodge or down here or over here, wherever they're coming from to watch, and that's what I love about these state tournament games and being around the girls' union for so long with volleyball and with track and with basketball especially. I mean, you make a day out of it when you come to the state tournament. You don't come up here for just one game. It's an event that you come for.
1-2 count to the senior third baseman, Hadley Pearson. She gets a piece of this one, hustling in from first, and another basket catch by Ansley Oswald. That one maybe didn't take quite as much gusto. She was able to keep her feet that time, but little Willie Mays Hayes action there coming in from Major League, coming down from first base.
Ansley and Hadley Oswald both running after the ball. Hadley from her catcher's position, and at the last minute they talked about it exactly the way it should be done. You come in from first base, make that Willie Mays Hayes basket catch, and we're off and running. But I better leave my Major League references to just that tonight, because I don't know what else I may slip up and say.
We'll leave it at that as well. It's about as PG as that movie gets.
Great movie, though.
Oh,
Great
one of the best.
movie.
If you're of age to watch it. Let's put it out there for any kids listening. Ask your parents before you choose to watch that.
There's some scenes you can find on YouTube that are PG.
Absolutely. And really, Bob Uecker there, as a play-by-play guy myself. Harry Doyle, one of the great movie characters of all time. I digress. A 1-1 count here in Fort Dodge. 1 out, and the Gales are cruising along so far against this top seed, but a Blue Devils team that very much is like a threat you don't see under the surface of the water. They could emerge at any point and really roll this thing in the wrong direction for Fort Dodge.
The longer this game stays knotted at 0, the better you got to feel as a Gales fan.
And Henning continuing to pitch well. This one might be a little tough for the shortstop, and she can't handle it. Peyton Bradley falls backwards. It bounces off of her mitt, and all of a sudden, an error with 2 outs in the inning will give this Martensdale-St. Mary's team some life.
Well, I think Bradley, as she went from that crushed brick onto the grass, I think there was just enough change there. Looked like that's about when she lost her footing and couldn't find it back, and was just close enough that got a glove on it. And I don't think there was any chance of coming in from center to make that catch.
Which brings the sophomore Marianne Hart to the plate. She chops one towards second, and the Gales survive a little blip in the radar and keep this game scoreless as we barrel our way towards the third. Still no score between Martensdale-St. Mary's and St. Edmond here in Fort Dodge.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
When you choose Delta Dental of Iowa, you set a chain of good in motion. Because we invest in your community. So whether you get your plan at work or purchase it through us, you get more than great dental and vision insurance. You make a difference for others. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, and for your community.
Bottom of the order due up for St. Edmond here in 8th grader Sophia Schlinn. She'll start what the Gales hope to be as a rallying inning. Neither team has really been able to open up much offensively so far. A few base runners stranded here and there as we open the top of the third inning here with the Gales on the hunt for a base runner.
Well, and as they approach now, as you see more and more pitches from German, it's not so much about what pitches you're looking to hit. It's about laying off the right pitches, just as much about laying off the right pitches, because as you sit there and you can dissect things all day long, but it's more about what you realize you can't hit, because she does not throw many hittable pitches.
Well, we blinked, and Campbell German has yet another strikeout, her 6th already coming into the top of the third inning. Just incredible.
I believe 13 in a game is the most I've seen so far in this tournament. There by Van Meter, actually, just in the game before this one.
So to the top of the order we go. Faith Sherbrun comes out after an opening strikeout back in the first inning, third baseman. And a 1-1 count after a first pitch strike. That one comes sizzling in high from German.
That's one of those pitches that you do want to lay off. That rise ball, you recognize right away the spin, the release. If you can't see the top of the ball, don't swing.
Another hack that was late from Sherbrun. And German continuing to pound those softballs in there to the glove of her catcher, Sydney Bears. Now a 1-2 count here at the top of the third.
Just the combination of pitches that she's throwing, rise ball, fastball, drop ball. I mean, you're seeing that ball come in on so many different planes as a batter. It's nearly impossible to time it up. You really just hope to catch a couple pitches in a row that look the same and maybe tap one out of the infield.
Still 1-2 after Sherbrun stays alive barely with a foul ball. That one just missing the inside corner. That had home plate umpire Ed Oliver thinking about it.
Had everybody in the stands thinking about it as well. Long pause there after the pitch, waiting.
That one got me flinching after it came off the bat. Staying alive, though, is Sherbrun. The ticked foul on that pitch from German.
We're trusting this netting in front of us a lot.
Maybe too much. Still 2-2. Here's German's delivery, another foul ball. This one goes up off the backstop. And so the count stays 2-2 to the leadoff hitter for the Gales, Faith Sherbrun.
And Sherbrun's done a really nice job here again. She fouling off a lot of pitches, recognize the pitches she can't hit, see if she can find one here in the zone.
2-2 pitch. This one straight up into the air, coming in from first, and a little bit of a miscue there, as that looked like it was going to be a can of corn, but instead it goes off the glove of Sydney Bears, and that gives Sherbrun a pulse once more in this 2-2 count.
Well, and I think Ava Oberender at first base kind of lost it in the sun because she was coming at it, and then you realize she looked down at her catcher and realized she didn't know where the ball was. So that's a tough play to make when you're staring up into that sunshine at this time of day.
German gets another one popped, this time down the third base line, and no sun, no problem for Hadley Pearson. And it's 2 outs on the inning here in the top of 3.
Well, German showing that she can get it done, not just striking people out. She threw a hittable pitch that had movement on it, and recognizing that, gets a couple pop flies in a row.
Peyton Bradley steps into the box, looking to try and change the trend, and that trend is German mowing down batters here for Martensdale-St. Mary's.
If she's going to get that pitch on the edge like that, it's going to be a rough night hitting the ball. I mean, it already has been, but when you get one tailing away, dropping out of the zone, right at the knees on the outside corner, an impossible pitch to hit.
Inside, looking for the opposite corner from the corner she hit a pitch ago. Nice take from the sophomore shortstop Bradley.
Looking upstairs here again.
That one goes off the bat backwards for a 1-2 count.
Just again, watching the combinations and the spots that German hits. Great rapport between her and her catcher, Sydney Bears.
Bradley, a .324 batter this season, trying to handle the heat from German, and she pulls the string there, does German, on that one, and just with the absolute end of the bat, Bradley stays alive.
That's exactly where she hit it on, right off the cap.
The cap. You could hear it from here. Not the normal sound you hear when a bat makes contact. Still a 1-2 count. German with Bradley on her heels. And finds the corner. Precision at its finest from German. And it's 7 strikeouts for the talented junior, as Martensdale-St. Mary's will flip the script and look to go to offense here when we come back in the bottom of the third here from Kruger Seeds Field in Fort Dodge.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Plenty of swag available online right now. We've got official state tournament merchandise that is now available online. Time to get your smartphones out and check out that QR code on your screen. Or you can visit IGHSAU.org to browse and customize your merchandise to match your style. Well, plenty of style in the circle for both teams so far here today. Campbell German has a gem going, 7 strikeouts through 3 innings, but right now, right behind German, doing a pretty stellar job as well, is the junior pitcher Kaylee Henning for the Gales.
Yeah, Henning really going pitch for pitch, where they're probably not going to have the strikeout pizzazz that comes along with it, but she has hit her spots, induced exactly what she wants to get, understanding that not every pitch is going to go by the batter, but giving them something to hit and letting your defense make plays. As long as you don't barrel that thing up and it leaves the park, you're usually in pretty good shape.
And at the end of the day, no matter how pretty your outings are, what you're going to do is turn around and look at the scoreboard at the end of the day and see hits and see runs, and so far Henning has been flawless on the run department side. Just 1 hit apiece for both teams, so it has been a pitching duel to this point. Trying to lay down a bunt there at the plate was Emily Hughes. That one ends up foul for a 1-2 count.
Hughes bats .259 on the year, and the bunt almost shows right now that it's a sign of respect, really, as to Henning, because you're looking at no solid hits really from her and starting to scratch and claw to figure out a way to get a base runner.
Henning rocks and fires, and there's a strike 3 from Henning. Her second strikeout of the day, really going tit for tat right now in a lot of ways with German.
Kept that pitch high in the zone, and you have to be careful because you've seen enough rise balls from her, so you don't know if that pitch is just a high pitch or if it's one that's going to get out of the zone in general. And nice job corralling it in by Hadley Oswald behind the plate.
Blue Devils leadoff hitter and Bridley German to the plate, takes an opening ball.
Be curious to see the adjustments right now by Coach Wood and what they're going to do this second time through the order after they've seen a variety of pitches from Kayla Henning.
Senior, a .402 batter this season, but she misses on that look to the outside corner from Henning for a 1-1 count.
Just not enough bat there to reach that pitch on the outside.
Henning looking to get up in the count. The pitch comes curving in and is swooped out to center. Nice work from Lauren Gibb. Her second put out here of the ball game and showcasing some nice speed out there, the sophomore.
Brinley German sat on the off-speed pitch, able to put quite a charge into it, but again, you get just enough of a fly ball out of it to make the play in the outfield, and that's what Henning has thrived on so far, is just allowing her defense the opportunity to make not just plays, easy plays behind her. They haven't had to do anything too outstanding so far, and as a pitcher, you take a lot of pride in that.
Batting average leader for the Blue Devils, Ellie Baker to the plate. .443 on the season. Struck out her first time at the plate. Trying to take it up a notch here on her second try in the batter's box. 1-0 count to the sophomore, second baseman. The pitch trying to just leave that bunt, just kiss it down the left or the third base line, but didn't get enough of the barrel of the bat on that one, and so the count moves to 1-1 with the foul ball.
Well, I think the off speed threw the timing off as she went with a changeup there against against Baker. Just enough to throw off the run-up of the left-handed hitter.
Another bunt attempt, a similar result as it trickles its way foul over towards the Blue Devils bench. So a 1-2 count. So Henning has gotten over the hump of trying to deny some bunts here from the speedy second baseman. We'll likely see her swing away now.
Well, the last time we saw Henning in this situation, she went with that flip change, really threw off the timing of Baker. I'm not sure you can go to that well too deep here again.
Henning's 1-2 pitch swung on and notched to short. The roll to first is in time, and the Gales are out of the inning. A rifled wrist rocket from short by Peyton Bradley, and nice reach by the first baseman Ansley Oswald beats out the runner Baker, and the Gales go back to the plate as we head cruising along to the top of the fourth. Here as the Gales continue their battle with the Blue Devils.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
Back live.
Welcome back to Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex here in Fort Dodge. Here with you live on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Gearing up for the top of 4. So far, the script not playing out like the numbers would have suggested. Number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's scoreless with the number 8 seed St. Edmond Gales playing in front of a big home crowd here, trying to surge this underdog on to what would be an improbable win over the number 1 seeded Blue Devils.
Well, we talked in the pregame show about how St. Edmond would have to keep this score low, 2-1, 1-0 type of game, and they have certainly done their share of keeping the score low so far with some great defensive plays.
Although with the way German's hurling the rock here tonight, it may take a little invention and who knows, maybe a little luck to get a runner around third. The closest they've been so far tonight is second base. And German continuing to just blister balls into the mitt of her catcher, Sydney Bears. A 1-2 count on the batter here for the Gales, Lauren Gibb.
That was about as good a pitch as you're going to see to hit.
And it still wasn't even that good of a pitch to hit either, but it was, to your point, about as good of a hit or as good of a pitch as you're going to see to try to take a hack at.
And then she takes off about 20 miles an hour off it on that flip change, coming right back to it.
It's been a masterful performance from German up to this point. 1-2 to Gibb. And Gibb takes a pitch that was high, but not that high.
Again, good recognition, though, realizing that the upward trajectory of the ball, I'm not going to do anything but pop that up or strike out.
2-2. This one's dribbled back to German in the circle, swung over to first and into the glove of Ava Oberender for the opening out of the inning for the Blue Devils.
A good at-bat, just a good finish, a better finish from German in the circle. Got the Baltimore chop off that home plate and didn't get the high hop that you hope to because she was certainly motoring down that first baseline.
One thing that I've noted about German as she rocks and fires pitch number 1, that one gets bunted foul by Ansley Oswald, is I can count on one finger, I think, the amount of times that German has missed by a really wide margin. Her misses have been very finite. She is all over the zone.
What's the old line from the Patriot? Aim small, miss small, right? You're not trying to take down an elephant in there. You're trying to put that in a coffee can.
Second movie quote of the broadcast. Don't make me get started trying to break these out. You and I will go back and forth all night long.
I'm here all night.
We got way into Major League. We got to keep it here. I can go into the Patriot, too. 0-2 count, make it 3 straight strikes from German and an 8th strikeout for the junior. And there's 2 away for the Gales here in the top of the 4th.
Well, and you go back to the first pitch. As Oswald started to show bunt, she jammed it up on her, and really just an impossible pitch to hit. And it kind of scares you a little bit, actually, when you see that pitch.
Scares me watching. Just a phenomenal run. And it continues with some gas right down the pipe. Again from German, who has rarely been behind in a count so far here today. At the plate for St. Edmond is the junior pitcher, Kaylee Henning. She got on base with a walk, 4 straight balls back in the second inning. This one has a little steam on it to third, but it's handled well and fired to first by Hadley Pearson. And a quick up and down inning once more for Campbell German. Will turn the top of 4 into the bottom of 4, and we'll see if the St. Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils can get the bats going here when we return.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Being your family's grocery store isn't just about having the best butcher cut meat or the freshest produce. It's not about having the highest quality online shopping or experts who handpick your groceries. And it's not just about giving you the most affordable prices. Being your family's grocery store means making sure that you have all of that. And that's why at Fairway Meat and Grocery, it's what we've always been about.
After a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Talisman pitcher, Campbell German. Try to turn that prowess onto the batting side now here for this Blue Devils team as they'll head to the plate. And German opens the inning as the leadoff hitter for Martensdale-St. Mary's. Opening strike, though, coming in from her counterpart, Kaylee Henning. Andy Pollock to my right. I'm Ben Gislason, and you and I were talking off air. Game like this, you may look at it and say, oh, I'm bored. You and I are not. We're riveted by this. The pitching has been just sensational both ways.
Well, and more so in softball, you can break down each pitch individually. You can see the spin better from a behind the plate point of view. You can see the different planes that the pitches come in on, and this has certainly been an entertaining game to watch from that perspective. It's really been a chess match with the different pitches being thrown.
Beauty on the outside corner from Henning there. That sends German into a 1-2 count. Campbell German batting just over 400 on the season, 33 RBI. Looking to find a base runner here for the Blue Devils in the bottom of 4. She slaps one down the line, foul. Nicely stabbed at first base. Ansley Oswald's been busy at first. Not always the case down the line there, but number 8 in white and green tonight's had her hands full and has been up to the task, including on that slick foul ball.
Well, just in general, it tells you that the hitters are behind the batter quite a bit, and not a whole lot of left-handed batters in this game, so keeping a lot of pitches down that right side.
1-2 count, pitcher to pitcher, heading to German. That one's tick foul off the backstop.
Got me flinching once more.
It's great to say that was coming right at you, partner.
I think our home plate umpire wanted to talk some smack to me after he saw me flinch. But
he gave you a little grin.
Yep.
Here's another 1-2 pitch from Henning. That one missed by a wide margin, easy for German to lay off of.
Yeah, she hasn't missed by that much often. But if you're going to miss, so that you want to miss that way and not back to the inside.
Henning checking her wrist for the upcoming pitch. Here it comes. German with some zip out to left field. That's in the gap. Campbell German's going to round first, on her way to second with a stand-up double. What can't she do?
She's been miss everything so far here tonight with a Kruger Seeds extra base hit. Laced that one out into left field. Almost looked like it caught mud or something out there. The ball didn't bounce off the turf at all. It just skipped all the way to the fence, and that leadoff double now opens up all sorts of possibilities for Martensdale-St. Mary's and how they want to attack things offensively. I would imagine at some point you'll see some small ball played here. Although I'm not sure that's going to come from Abigail Hughes and her 3 home runs that she's had so far this year.
So Abigail Hughes now will try to keep a little mojo that the Blue Devils have finally found here in this game. It's been quelled excellently by the Gales defense and some good pitching by Kaylee Henning.
I think you'll see a bevy of rise balls coming in now. Try to get a pop-up.
There's a strike from Henning. If you're keeping track at home, 2 for 2 now is German at the plate with a single and a double. She's given up 1 hit in the circle and has 8 strikeouts.
Now, she was an all-tournament selection last year and picked up right where she left off.
Comfortable here in Fort Dodge, that's for sure. The junior on second base now, watching her teammate, Abigail Hughes, who pops one over to first base. Again, the busy evening continues for Ansley Oswald of the Gales. And now 1 out for St. Edmond.
Threw that rise ball. Once again, got the rise ball, got the pop-up. Exactly what you want in that situation, but still a possibility of a bunt right now for Coach Wood. Opportunity to move a runner forward and take your chances with the number 4 batter in the order.
So a pop out to first is the opening out of the inning for the Gales. Still on second is German, and a first pitch strike on a swing and a miss to the batter, Sydney Bears.
Several years ago, you used to come to the state softball tournament and see so many girls throwing the screwball in on the hands, jamming batters, making it tough to hit. Now that rise ball is taken over, but really like to see Henning going back to that pitch and throwing that right inside. Shows great control. You're playing a little bit, it's dangerous because you're very close to hitting the batter, but if you've got control over that pitch, it is an impossible pitch to hit solid.
Henning has brought her A game. And in the face of such excellence when they're at the plate, the Gales getting some great performance out of their pitcher as Kaylee Henning sits down the catcher for the Blue Devils, Sydney Bears, on strikes, and make it a 3rd strikeout for the junior pitcher.
I just got to smile. It's been so much fun to watch these pitchers work tonight, and it's not just throwing pitches by the batter. They've got all the different complement of all the different junk that you can throw as well. As there she comes back with gas, but just so many fun pitches that you see in the movement from behind the plate. It's been a treat to watch these two duke it out here tonight.
So with Bears back in the dugout, 2 outs now on these Blue Devils, trying to bring in German from second. Here's a blooper out to shallow center. Nice range coming in as Lauren Gibb retires Hadley Pearson. And the Blue Devils strand another runner on second. This game stays scoreless as we roll our way into the 5th inning here from Fort Dodge. Who's got the first one, and will it be the only one? Maybe we'll find out when we come back here from Kruger Seeds Field.
In Iowa, we all play by the same rules. Hard work pays off, practice makes perfect, success is something you earn, and teamwork helps us all be winners. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics. Because on our team and on yours, what we bring to the table is what brings us all together. Learn more about our commitment to Iowa at iowapork.org.
Forever Dutch indeed. Central College, proud sponsor of our showcase here up in Fort Dodge, and they've got you covered with career building programs, and with tuition less than $20,000 a year and tons of scholarships, it's the best decision ever. Apply today at central.edu. Andy Pollock with Ben Gislason, and so far, if you were looking at this coming into the tournament, you would have thought this one could be looking at a potential early ender with the number 1 seed and the number 8 seed, 2 teams that really pale in comparison to each other on paper, but that's why the game's played here on the diamond, not on paper, because this has been a dandy so far.
All the ingredients that we talked about in the pregame that would be needed for a Gales upset have really been part of the equation so far, part of the Fort Dodge shopping trip, if you will, because they have played nearly flawlessly so far.
They will need runs. As good as Kaylee Henning has been, as good as the fielding has been, you can't win a game without scoring a run. And so the bats for St. Edmond need to find life, and boy, do they have a tough row to hoe ahead of them, as Campbell German has a gem going here into the top of the 5th inning.
Well, I'm almost wondering if we'll see something a little sneaky out of Anna Kalachia here, because she had a long conversation. She got called back to the dugout by first base coach Bill Myers. There it is. I wondered if that was coming.
Well, an interesting thought. The execution not quite there, as Kalachia pops out to the catcher, Sydney Bears. And it seems German unfazed by a little trickery by Bill Sherburne and the Gales club.
Looking to get on base any way possible and got caught in a bad situation with a rise ball. And I can pretty much tell you exactly how that conversation played out. It was like, wait for a strike, and after you get that first strike, then we're coming with a surprise bunt, and got caught in a rise ball situation again. A great pitch by German.
German with an incredible amount of first pitch strikes. There's another one on Hadley Oswald, catcher for the Gales, who, like most of her teammates, 0 for 1. She bunted for an out back in the 2nd inning. She takes one high, though, for a 1-1 count.
Well, you can just feel the buzz, though, here tonight. It's something that we haven't quite felt, not to this level anyway so far. I wasn't here for the Fort Dodge game against ADM the other day, and I know they always travel the 2 miles from town, from the middle of town out here to Harlan and Hazel Rogers Park. But, yeah, huge amount of St. Edmunds fans. I'm guessing a fair amount of Dodgers fans pulling for the Gales here tonight as well, and obviously a bunch of number one's fans from St. Mary's, Martensdale-St. Mary's as well. It's really created quite a fun atmosphere here tonight.
I had the pleasure of doing the ADM Fort Dodge game with Zarin Egestall yesterday, and this decibel level's right on par, if not maybe even a little greater. Being later in the day helpful on a work day here. And wow, pulling the string with authority as German makes it strikeout number 9. Back to the dugout goes Hadley Oswald with her dauber down.
It's almost like a magic trick. Like you slide a hand, you know, it looks like it's coming in so quick, and you realize, you'll watch this, you'll see so far ahead of it. Boom. Oh. Just that little flip on the changeup is so distracting.
First pitch swung on and deflected back to the backstop by the current batter, Josie Harvey, sophomore right fielder who is one of the 9 strikeout victims today of the deadly Campbell German. Fire throwing from the circle today. She lays off on that one, and understandably the batter way ahead of it in Harvey.
Almost a changeup with a rise component to it. All sorts of junk being applied. They might want to check her for any foreign substances right now.
It's been an incredible display, and who knows what's coming out of that wizard sleeve of hers next. I mean, it's just been magic all game long. Wow. And another strikeout, 3 straight strikes, as Martensdale-St. Mary's just continues to lean on their sensational pitcher, Campbell German, as that is a 10th strikeout, sending this Blue Devils team back to the plate when we come back for the bottom of 5 here in Fort Dodge.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Living your best life means something different to everyone, especially when it comes to healthcare. That's why Mercy One offers compassionate, personalized care. We are here for you with one team of experts, providing access to the primary care and highly rated specialty care you need, easily and conveniently. So go ahead, live your best life. We're with you every step of the way. Mercy One, your best life, our one purpose.
Back here at Kruger Seed Stadium in the Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex. Ben Gislason joined by Andy Pollock, and a real gem of a game continuing here where you're starting to wonder, will there be a run in normal 7-run in, and there's 7 innings of a game here. It's been a contest where if you can manage to scrape up 1 run, that might be enough.
Well, you just saw the box score, and really nothing too exciting going on in that regard. But boy, this has been a fun matchup to watch from a pitcher perspective.
Tough one to short as it gets slapped towards the shortstop area by Ani Berger, and that's going to be a base runner on for Martensdale-St. Mary's, and always great to get the leadoff hitter down the line.
Well, we've seen it already tonight, though, too, and the Gales have continued to get out of that tough situation. Almost a changeup off the bat of Berger. The hard swing comes off as a little knuckleball and just into the right spot, ruled as a hit.
Difficult play for the sophomore shortstop Peyton Bradley. Here's a nice bunt laid down. Getting to it is the first baseman Ansley Oswald, but the damage has been done. The runner Berger advances to second and into scoring position. Well done by Marianne Hart, the sophomore.
Been very impressed with the maturity of Ansley Oswald over at first base tonight. There, realizing she did not have time to glove that one, picked up a rolling ball with her bare hand and whipped it over there to get the out. But several big plays made by her tonight. But good situation right now for Martensdale-St. Mary's to be in.
As Emily Hughes steps in. She struck out her last time at the plate. She'll bunt once more. Small ball on the way here, but great job by St. Edmond to get the out. But now, for the first time here tonight, the Blue Devils have a runner 60 feet from home.
Great concentration there by Lauren Gibb coming over from second base. Excuse me, that's not Lauren Gibb. That's Anna Kalashia coming over from second base. That ball, it looks like it's coming right out of the head of the batter runner as they're coming at you, and she focused on also looking into the sun to add a little bit of toughness to that and able to make the play.
9 triples on the year for Brinley German. It wouldn't even take that to bring in the base runner Ani Berger from third here, as this dangerous Blue Devil top of the order begins with 6 in blue and yellow.
I would imagine you're going to see it again, trying to get a pop out. She threw a little bit low to these bunters.
The 0-1 pitch. Takes a little off that one and seals it away outside, does Henning.
You're going to have a tough time throwing one past Berger here, or past German. Berger's on third.
And looking antsy to get home. This one chopped towards first. And reaching up to make the play in, again, emphatic fashion. Another wonderful display of defense from Ansley Oswald, who's having a maestro day at first. And the Gales are out of the inning, and we go to the 6th, scoreless still in this number 1 versus number 8 seed matchup.
Swing's the place for you!
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. And that old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Pleasure to have you with us here as we head into the top of the 6th inning from Fort Dodge, the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Unit Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And Andy Pollock, put me in the mind right now of this Gales team. Put me also in the mind of Martensdale-St. Mary's. Where do you think both of these clubs are at? A scoreless game with just 2 innings remaining.
Well, as you look at it from a Gales perspective, the confidence just has to be building. They've made big play after big play on the defensive end, and now it's just a matter of if they can get a couple base runners on and maybe scratch run across. But from the other perspective, Martensdale-St. Mary's, as you look down their scores for the year, they've been in a lot of close games, like a lot of close games. So for them, it's no big deal. Hey, we've been here before. We've won these games before, and it's been so much fun. Just huge play after huge play on the defensive end tonight. It's been a true delight to watch.
Bottom of the order to start this top of the 6th inning for the Gales. Sophie Schlins is the next victim, make it 11 strikeouts for the phenomenal pitching of Campbell German here tonight.
And this will be probably one of the final times, at least in the regulation 7 innings, that we're going to see the top of the order again here for the Gales. A couple good hitters. We mentioned we didn't know if they had the depth in their lineup to go through, but they played good enough defense tonight. That depth in the hitting lineup hasn't mattered, but they're certainly getting to that situation right now. This late in the game, a 0-0 game, and had one of the reporters yesterday tell me, he said, we're at a point in the game where it's either going to be a player, an umpire, or a coach that makes a mistake, and that's going to be to what wins the game, and there's another out.
Simple one for Sydney Bears, and this inning moving along simply once more for simply one of the best, Campbell German, at the 1A level, dealing a dandy here so far through almost 6 innings of action for the junior.
Well, and that mistake may not come in the form of something super visible. It may come more in a pitch that you lose a little bit to the inside or a little bit low. We'll see what yesterday it happened in an error late in the game that we were watching. Literally right after we got done talking about it, it happened. An error on a throw from third to first, and that's what led to the win. So we'll see how this transpires here, but you just got to feel, you hope it comes down to somebody making a play and not a mistake, but so often in games like this, that's what it boils down to.
Peyton Bradley hoping to put a rare blemish on the day of the hurler Campbell German, just 1 hit allowed from the Martensdale-St. Mary's ace. The count now 0-2 to the sophomore shortstop. Here's the pitch. That one easy to lay off on. Came in high in the zone, and well, I'm not sure I've seen a pitcher look more comfortable, not only with what the numbers have shown today, but just the demeanor of Campbell German right now through 6 innings.
A lot of what the young ones would call swagger out there as she walks around, and just really a commanding presence out there in the circle. Really thought after that 2nd inning that the Gales may be onto something, but she's just buckled down once again and hit her spots and got that extra spin on her balls that's got her exactly what she needs to get.
Make it strikeout number 12, and the 3rd of the inning, or 2nd of the inning, as she strikes out 2 of 3. An incredible run continues for the Martensdale-St. Mary's ace, but can they get the bats going? We'll find out as we head to the bottom of the 6th around the corner.
What's affordable to her might not be for him. Our means may be different, but our need for energy is the same. And keeping the price for that energy as low as possible is exactly what we strive to do. It's what we've always done. Investments made 10 years ago have kept prices nearly unchanged. Investments made today will help keep prices predictable for the future. With energy that's cleaner, reliable, and affordable for all. An energy future that's American-made. Mid-American. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Pair of clubs trying to ruffle the feathers of 2 sensational performing pitchers here in Fort Dodge. Martensdale-St. Mary's and Fort Edmond dueling it out here in the circle as the Blue Devils go to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. And Andy, we've talked about what the Gales could have tried to do to shake up things for German. What can the Blue Devils try to do to shake up Henning? Because as commanding and demanding of a presence as German has been on the mound, score-wise, Both pitchers doing the exact same thing.
Well, Henning, you can tell she's got faith in her teammates behind her. She's put those pitches. She's got a fair amount of strikeouts, but those pitches, she's had plays made behind her. You want to keep that ball on the right side of the infield and keep allowing Oswald to make the plays over there on the first base side and keep putting them to work.
2 bunt attempts to open the inning for the number 2 batter, Ellie Baker. Both have gone foul for an 0-2 count. 3 Ks on the day for Kaylee Henning.
You know, they tried here coming out with a bunt, and again, just trying to figure out any way to get a base runner here. They have been hard to come by, and you've seen both teams valuing the base runners. If anybody gets on, you almost wonder if they get a little more aggressive with things as the game goes on, since I don't think we've had anybody past second base.
Had a player on third last time
Briefly.
out, and they had the bunt burger there, if you remember.
That's right.
It wasn't even open swinging away.
Yep.
They bunted her over twice.
So for one batter, we've had someone on third.
Ooh. And perhaps that's the mistake that we were alluding to last inning, as taking a pitch off the arm was Ellie Baker. She'll go to first. And now out to have a word with the umpire behind the plate.
Well, this is a
Head
tough
coach,
call and a big call right
Bill
now,
Sherburne.
because he wanted to talk about her movement and did she swing through right now, and a couple veteran umpires out there. And he's going to say, no, she did not go. Almost wore that one as a lefty. You're coming, a slapper, you're coming right at it. Pretty much wore it right in the middle of the chest.
So Ellie Baker goes to first. Led the team in stolen bases this year, so we'll see if she gets a green light from the one bag from her head coach Emily Wood. No outs now. The Gales wouldn't call them in a pickle here, but what they do have to contend with is the best player on the diamond right now, both in the circle and at the batter's box. Campbell German's 2 for 2 with a single and a double, and she's at the plate with the runner on first.
Well, I wonder if they're going to try to get her moved to second base. We've not seen the arm yet of Oswald there behind the plate. We talked about being a little more aggressive with your base runners once you get someone on. This is, what, the 4th time tonight that they've had the leadoff batter on for Martensdale-St. Mary's, just not able to scratch one across.
Great play at shortstop. My heavens, what a diving stop. The Gales, every time they've needed a big play defensively, they get it. Peyton Bradley, a sterling play at short.
Diving back towards second base, and you talked about it, and I just mentioned keeping everything to the right side of the infield right now, but Bradley just full extension to gather that one in, and actually very close to turning 2. It was a lot closer than I expected to be. She popped up right away and threw back. Great base running over there as well, but boy, that's another spark tonight for the Gales.
Well, you saw it on the replay. Baker couldn't believe her eyes. She was getting ready to roll her way around second. She thought she was destined for third. It was a great heads-up play by Baker to stop in her tracks and get back, but her momentum was certainly carrying her towards second as Henning continuing to deal. She has an 0-2 count to the cleanup hitter Abigail Hughes, who she has retired twice in this game.
It's been fun to watch the confidence continue to grow, and I don't think Kaylee Henning came into this game with a lack of confidence, but you can just tell the way she's carrying herself out there in the circle. It just continues to snowball.
Throws one up high in the zone on the cleanup hitter Hughes with a 0-2 count that moves to 1-2. Just one out though, so the Blue Devils could certainly add some intrigue to this inning should Hughes get on here. No English on that one.
That out has taken the sacrifice bunt really out of the scenario. It's part of one of those valuing the base runners, doing whatever you can to scratch them across. And I understand you've got a great hitter up, but there's just something, getting one of those runners in scoring position.
Henning puts some heat on that one, low and inside, and Hughes stays alive, fouling it off. Baker still on first, anxious to make her way into scoring position here late in this tight nip and tuck battle between the number 1 seeded Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils and the St. Edmond Gales, ranked number 8, seeded 8, I should say, coming into the tournament.
Huge pitch coming up right now.
Here's Henning's delivery. This one gets popped up. And the catcher Oswald calls it and has it. And just like that, after an opening batter gets hit by a pitch, 2 straight outs from the Gales. And they're 1 out away from stymieing this terrific offense of the Blue Devils once again.
A lot of outs recorded by the Oswalds tonight at first base and behind the plate.
Has been a family affair, hasn't it?
And just another chance to get out of here. You can't really call it a jam, but that leadoff batter's got on so much for Martensdale-St. Mary's, and here they sit again, 2 outs, and the runner has not gone anywhere.
Well, you could coin the phrase jam relative, and in this game where there's been so few runners on base, just 3 hits for Martensdale-St. Mary's, 1 recorded for St. Edmond. Yes, this is a jam as we've seen it in this game. There's a good hit. That one's going to get by. Will it get in the hole? Yes, it does. A runner could be coming around third, and she will. The opening run of the game here in the bottom of the 6th. It goes to the Blue Devils on a 2-out double off the bat of Sydney Bears. Coming around home is Ellie Baker.
For the first time tonight, Martensdale-St. Mary's able to push that leadoff runner all the way through here on the extra base hit. Out there by Bears, but just the shot, the hitting, right? So many times tonight, the perfect pitch has happened at the perfect time. This one out a little bit too far over the plate. Beers gets around on it and all the way to the fence. In fact, if that ball, maybe if it's fielded, I'm not sure you still have a chance to throw out the runner because motoring around second base was Baker, around third, excuse me.
Baker got a great jump at it off the bat from first base, and Baker's speed very evident. Mentioned when she got on first, the stolen base leader with 12 for this Blue Devils team, and she used all of that speed to huff and puff her way around third into home plate for a 1-0 lead. The number 1 seed scratching their way onto the scoreboard here, and it took everything they could muster against Kaylee Henning. And the Gales will take a break here and take a breather, and you just wonder, you could sense in this Gales lineup, I looked right at the pitcher, Kaylee Henning, and not that the body language was defeated, but they felt and knew that they had to play almost, if not a perfect game. And that little play right there, that might, especially with the way the pitching for Martensdale-St. Mary's is going, it might be just enough.
And that's where, in this situation, I think one of the reasons you see Coach Sherburne come out right now is to focus still on getting this batter. You can't think anything about that. Got to get the next batter, because as hard as it will be to even get a base runner against Martensdale-St. Mary's, getting that 1 run is going to be hard, but getting 2 seems almost impossible at this moment. So you really got to buckle down and forget completely about the past, get this batter and move on and try to scratch one across here in the top of the 7th.
The imperative is this: Kaylee Henning needs to get this out with a runner on second after that spectacular double by Sydney Bears. She represents the run that really, with the way this game has gone, could put this out of reach for the underdog Gales. 2 outs and a 2-0 count, and a great pitch after the timeout. So settling down is Henning with a breaking ball that gets a whiff from the batter, Hadley Pearson. Henning will set again. Now the count 2-1. The pitch inside for a 3-1 hitter's count to the senior third baseman, Hadley Pearson.
Well, that base runner came from Baker getting hit. That's how she got on base to start the inning, and that's just one of the very, very few mistakes that Henning has made tonight. Led to the go-ahead run.
Henning's 3-1 pitch. Another walk, this time on balls. And you mentioned that being one of the very few mistakes that Henning has made, one of the very few mistakes anyone has made in this game in either uniform.
Just a fun, clean played game tonight to watch. And I know we've got a lot of people watching right now as look, the intrigue of an upset always draws in a lot of eyeballs.
Henning's first pitch, a ball to Ani Berger, who was on third a few innings back.
Stranded there.
The 1-0 delivery from Henning is high. And that focus of Henning maybe starting to slip a little bit here with the trouble that has led to a Blue Devils lead and still 2 runners on this 2-out rally. Fascinating how quickly this game can change. It felt like after the Gales walked that opening runner and then grabbed a quick pair of outs, the momentum was right back and the winds were in the sails of this Gales team. But all of a sudden, a great double from the catcher Sidney Bears has changed the paradigm in a hurry. Now 3-0 is the count to Berger, the sophomore left fielder for the Blue Devils.
Well, and I think as Coach Sherburne comes out, he lets Kaylee know that, hey, you're our pitcher right now. You're the one. It's going to be you that gets this done if anybody does. You and I have seen some crazy momentum shifts in the games that we've watched today, huh?
We sure have. That earlier game that we were a part of, it felt like the game was over a couple of different times for I-35, and then it felt like Lisbon was going to win that game late. So we certainly aren't going to be calling for the fat lady to sing until this one's officially over. That with the day we've had today. And a 3-2 count after going down 3-0. Henning has clawed her way back here with 2 runners on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. That one's high for a bases loaded now walk.
And that's going to get another mound visit, it appears.
So Bill Sherburne will come out here to have a word with his ace in a very serious jam now, and you alluded to it before, the bases became juiced. One more run might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and right now that run is 60 feet from home plate.
Well, and right now you're looking at the bottom part of the order, and you can't be issuing free passes to the bottom part of the order. You have to make them swing the bats, and as good as Henning has been all night long, they're going to get her some water right now. Just try to refocus her, taking their time to get her locked back in. She was so good for 6 2/3 innings. So good.
As it stands now, when we shift into the top of the 7th inning, the last chance for this Gales team to keep their Cinderella hope alive. Lauren Gibb is set to lead off Ansley Oswald and Kaylee Henning, so you do have the meat of your order coming up. But the edict right now coming down from head coach Bill Sherburne is this: strike this batter out. That's the best possible scenario that could play out for this St. Edmond team, as Kaylee Henning will take on the sophomore Marianne Hart, who had a bunter last time at the plate. She's 0 for 2 on the day.
I'm not even sure it's going to take a strikeout right now. The conversation may be, hey, just give your defense behind you. They've made plays for you all night long. Just give them a chance, hit the bat, give them a chance to make the play.
First pitch is a ball. And a lot more of those this inning than we've grown accustomed to seeing from Henning, who has thrown marvelously up until this point in the game. There's a strike from Henning right down the middle of the plate. And as much as the gut might be churning of the pitcher Henning right now, you look up at the scoreboard and she's only given up 4 hits and 1 run.
She's been so good tonight.
A chopper back to Henning, and the inning will end. And now it's time for the last chance saloon for this underdog story. Do the Gales have what it takes to tie it? They'll need 1 as we go to the top of the 7th next here in Fort Dodge.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
Down to the final 3 outs for this hometown Gales team, hoping to incite some energy into this big crowd here that is decked out in green and gold, but they'll have to go through the impenetrable pitching of Campbell German, who has 12 strikeouts on the day, has given up 1 hit as we get ready for the top of the 7th inning, and that was one of the best hit balls we've seen all day, but there's good defense behind this pitcher too. We just haven't really had a chance to see them yet, as Ellie Baker handles that pretty simply.
Yeah, Ellie Baker, the ball, it took a nasty hop up into her breadbasket there right at the very end, but able to grab it with her bare hand and throw over and make the play, and that's a huge one right now because it really takes out any chance of a sacrifice for the Gales in this inning.
So a ground out from the sophomore Lauren Gibb. That could end her day, depending on the remainder of these batters here in the top of the 7th. For this hopeful Gales team, now it is another sophomore, Ansley Oswald, who took a first pitch strike and now takes a second pitch ball for a 1-1 count. Oswald has struck out twice today. She lays down a bunt. It's a nice one. The pitch to first, handled wonderfully. Great fundamental softball right there as Ava Oberender came down the line. Ellie Baker came over to cover first, and the number 1 seeded Blue Devils are 1 out away.
That rotation was just perfect, and again, you know, a little desperation, just trying to, any way possible, you'll see here. And the bunt was laid down just perfect enough that no chance to put the tag on, but just a great little flip of the glove to make the play.
It all comes down to the other pitcher, Kaylee Henning. How fitting on a day where pitching has been spectacular on both sides. It would come down to these two, Warriors, German and Henning, in the final out of the day. Henning with a piece of that. That advances the count for the Predator, Campbell German 0-2.
I'm looking for that little curveball, that breaking ball here across the outside, low and away.
Could it be an unlucky 13th strikeout to end the night for the number 1 seed? Here's the pitch. This one's popped up. The catcher to it, bears off of the mesh. She did catch it, but there was a bank. And so the pulse is slim for the Gales, but there is still a pulse on the heart rate meter here for this hometown team.
Just barely grazed the net right over top of us. Saw that little bit of movement right before the ball was caught.
Here's German's 0-2 pitch. There's the curve you were talking about, dropped out, the table falling out from under it, but it was low, so a 1-2 count. And the Gales stay alive.
Good discipline there by Henning to avoid that pitch. It's not one you're going to hit anyway. It's there, so it's not going to get called as a strike, and it's not one you're going to hit.
1-2 count to Henning here in the top of the 7th. The last breath for this Gales team, and Henning will not go down easy.
This junior's played a lot of softball. It's by the time you get to this stage for a lot of these girls, they've been playing probably since they were 5 or 6. So there's not much that will phase them in this sport.
The 1-2 pitch again. Henning lays off of it, making German work for it. Not going to be an easy put away. And why would it be on the day that Henning's had? So now the count, 2-2. Here in the top of the 7th. The pitch, high again. Make it 3-2 to Henning.
Henning, great pitch recognition, and talked earlier in the game, just realizing what pitches you can't hit, and she has been the one really to recognize that immediately out of the hand of Campbell German.
Brindley German, Campbell's sister, trotting in to have a quick word with her sister ahead of this payoff pitch here in the top of the 7th. The Gales desperately needing a base runner. Here's the pitch, fouled off again.
This game, it's just been so full of huge plays. Defensively, one big offensive play, and why wouldn't we see it come down to this huge pitching matchup?
It's been a script made for Hollywood here in this Class 1A quarterfinal. Number 1 seed versus number 8. German, could it be the final pitch? No, another foul ball from Henning, who is relentlessly trying to keep her team's state tournament hopes alive.
Just shows the warrior mentality that we've seen from Henning all night in the circle. Also comes down to the batter's box.
Third straight payoff pitch from German. Tick foul again. And German with a smile, almost like she's toying with her prey here. She doesn't seem to be sweating too much on the circle right now.
A lot of smiles and laughs here in the dugout, or in the press area, just knowing this is what it's come down to.
German and Henning again. The duel continues, and another foul ball. Henning clinging to life.
She's gone straight fastballs the last couple pitches. See if she changes it up a little bit here.
Another payoff pitch. Is this the moment for German? And waiting and winning the duel, at least this time, is Kaylee Henning. And that will bring Anna Kalagia to the plate. And the courtesy runner will come in for Henning. And tip of the cap to that junior. What a performance today all over the diamond.
She was feeling, you could tell she was just feeling a little low after that at bat to put the Gales behind, but just a huge battle out of her there. And she was able to foul off enough fastballs over and over again that it really forced German to go to a different pitch.
The pitch from German swung on and missed, and that one had some extra sting on it. As we do have a courtesy runner at first. Michaela Lighting comes back in to pinch run, courtesy of IMT Insurance. Anna Kalagia, the senior. May not mean more to anybody in the lineup than the senior, the lone senior. Starting today for this Gales team, but she's down 0-2 to the vicious pitching of Campbell German, who again is one strike away from sending her Blue Devils on to the semifinals. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. A 13th strikeout and a tour de force performance by Campbell German, who allows just one hit, and the Martensdale-St. Mary's Blue Devils survive a major scare to a heroic effort from the St. Edmond's Gales. The final score is 1-0. A whale of a softball game today, Andy Pollock.
Watching these two pitchers go at it time and time again tonight, and one of the things I noticed, both of them were very stoic, both of them in complete control. But then you see Campbell German celebrating with her teammates there at the end. It was a lot of fun to see that, because she was one that you could just tell controlled her emotions all night long. Nothing ever went super bad for her, but she just was in control of everything on the diamond. And then the most excited one, once that last out was made, was Campbell German running off to join her teammates.
The amount of focus that must go into a game pitched that magnificently is astounding to think about, and German was brilliant, and she'll go home with, actually, the MVP of the game's going to go to Hadley Pearson on that one. She went out to receive the award as the senior, but MVP of the game without question, the pitcher, Campbell German. An awe-inspiring performance. And Andy Pollock, your final thoughts on a game that didn't live up to the billing, and that's a good thing.
It was a very good thing. We had a lot of people watching this tonight, and I think everybody, as you're watching from home, you're thinking upset, you're hoping upset, but man, what a finish to this one. We go 0-0 all the way to the bottom of the sixth before just a hit batsman is the one that ends up coming through on the game-winning run, and it was a lot of fun working with you, Ben. We had some fun games to call today.
Had an absolute blast with you today, Andy. A big thank you to you and everybody here that made this broadcast possible on the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament here, presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. This is the Girls Union Network. That was the Blue Devils topping the Gales 1-0, so the Cinderella story unable to get off the ground. But more softball here on the Class 1A side coming up this evening. Northland and Sigourney will battle, as well as Southeast Warren and Clarksville. But for everybody on the broadcast tonight, Ben Giselson here signing off. Thanks for joining us, and a fond farewell and good night from Fort Dodge.